Our pal Walter Kern put out a tweet this morning promising some really bizarre things were going to start happening, and one of them already happened, and I'm going to show it to you. We have it on tape, and we confirmed with him that this is in part what he was talking about. So that's a tease for our second subject here. But I'm going to kick it off with this upcoming UFO documentary via The Hollywood Reporter and Variety. It's called The Age of Disclosure. It's by a filmmaker named Dan Farah, and it features on-the-record interviews with 34 current and former senior members of the U.S. government, military, intelligence committee, and beyond, with direct knowledge of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, which is the new name for UFOs. I guess it's more inclusive. The film contends that there has been an 80-year cover-up of the existence of non-human intelligent life and a secret war among major nations to reverse engineer UFO technology. Some of those interviewed include now Secretary of State Marco Rubio, New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, and many others, including some like Lou Elizondo, who's been on the show talking about UAPs. In the past, there is a documentary that is out. It just hit yesterday. There's a trailer for the documentary, and here's the trailer.
We've had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities, and it's not ours.
These are otherworldly things that are performing maneuvers that haven't been seen.
There's a whole fleet of them.
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
This is so secret. There have been very few people in our entire government that have been allowed or provided access to it.
Even presidents have been operating on a need-to-know basis, but that begins to ramp out of control.
It's not acceptable to have secret parts of government that no one ever sees. People have been hurt protecting and hiding this information.
Some people claim it would cost them their lives if they spoke out about these things.
You had information being locked away that could change the trajectory for species.
This is the biggest discovery in human history.
The biggest discovery in human history. Sounds like Joe Rogan has seen it. My notes read, ever since South by Southwest, he's been a vocal supporter of the project gaining distribution. Quote, amazing documentary. I really hope this gets released somewhere big. Very well done. They think this documentary is going to break the dam. It's pretty intense. Our understanding is it's not going to be released until November 21st. This is just the trailer that we've gotten. It will, we're told, have a limited theatrical run in New York, LA, Washington, D.C., and it will be streaming on Prime Video, again, as of November 21. So those are some legit people. I mean, Marco Rubio is a truth teller. They seem to be featuring Anna, I forget, Anna, what is it? Paulina, that's it, Anna Paulina Luna. Forgive me, I just met her at the Charlie event. She was lovely. And she's been speaking out about this. She went on Rogan to talk about this too, and she's a lawmaker who's had access to some records. So what are we to make of this claim that there's been an 80-year cover-up of the existence of non-human intelligent life and a secret war among major nations to reverse engineer UFO technology, Victor?
Well, I come to it, I don't think would be a greater skeptic than myself until this era that we're talking about of disclosure. When you look at antiquity, you would think we had some pretty empirical historians from all 2,500 years ago. So you look all through those periods, and while they do mention certain things that are a little strange, they find a corpse that's bigger than normal, or they see a comet that they think is a little you don't get any description of anybody who says there was people from a different planet. And then in addition to that, you have to approach it from the religious. I used to teach the New Testament in Greek, and you get the idea that the whole religious experience in Christianity, but also in other religions, is based on the uniqueness of life here as we know it. And then you you kind of see all these characters when growing up in the 50s and 60s with all these UFO stuff. And you kind of get on the ledger where you think, well, this is not possible. But then the more and more you see these films now, and we have much greater precision in cameras, in radar, sonar, and you start to see things that maybe we didn't. You become. I'm now kind of 50-50. I'm just waiting to see something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The elephant in the room is, if all of this is true, which I think the evidence is starting to make us skeptics re-examine our beliefs, you would think that the average person then is going to see them much more frequently than.
That's exactly what I said to my team. Yeah. Before we started this segment, I made the same point. Like, why aren't skeptics seeing the UAPs? Yes. Why aren't we all running into them? There was the weird drone thing over New Jersey. Yes. We never got to the bottom of that. We have had pilots in the air, with videotape show us very bizarre objects that go faster than any aircraft that we know of on Earth could go. These are legit fighter pilots who are not nuts, and there are quite a few of them talking about what they've encountered. And it might make sense that if you were from another planet, you'd start with our military, surveilling it, seeing what it's capable of. I will say this, Tim Burchett from Tennessee was on Tucker Show 2 weeks ago or a week ago. And here's something he said. Take a listen to him.
You don't think this is our technology?
No, I do not. There's no way it is our no way is our technology. There's, I've talked to too many pilots. Why would we risk our best? I mean, I've talked to the best pilots in the world that are ours. Some of them, not all of them, and that have told me. I mean, one guy, I remember I was at the Capitol Hill Club. It was just an unusual encounter. A guy had spoke to a group, and he followed me out and said, Tim, or Congressman or whatever, he said that thing was 14 feet. He went like this from my canopy. And I thought to myself, why didn't he say 15? Why didn't he say 20? But he said 14. And then he said this thing, it wasn't ours. He said, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't ours. And that's all he said. And I had a very high-ranking member of the Navy describe some underwater experiences they'd had with something that was doing 200 miles. And the best thing we got is probably 40. It
was doing 200 miles an hour underwater?
Underwater, big as a football field. And that's no fish.
So is it possible, given our current understanding of physics, for any man-made machine to go anywhere near 200 miles an hour underwater?
Not with our technology, no. The best we have is probably in the high 30s.
Starting to reel me in, Victor.
Yeah, it is. But on the other hand, if somebody said there was a hypersonic missile 10, Mach 3 or something, I wouldn't have believed it. Like now the Russians and the Chinese have them. And then if somebody said there's an iron beam that can knock down incoming projectiles, or there's drones that can go, I don't know, what is this, 10 Gs or more, I wouldn't have believed it. So our technology is increasing at not an arithmetic, but a geometric rate, it seems like. So I don't know to what degree people who see these things are part of a military group or civilian group, or that there are people who are experimenting with these technologies with drones, hypersonic lasers that they're not communicating. I don't know to the degree that's
could
true.
It be the Chinese?
Yes, exactly. And and then the other thing is, how many light years are we away from the nearest planet that would support life? And some of them are a lot of light years. So you're talking about a type of propulsion that could go at the speed of light to get to us within a few years. It seems very improbable. And then
unless they live in our ocean.
Yes, unless they've come here before. Or there used to be, I forgot his name, Von something. He was in the 70s. He made the argument that the Egyptians and other monumental civilizations, the Minoans, were taught their technology by people who came from outer space.
Oh, wow.
Von Donigan. I think his name was Von Donigan. And he said the pyramids were beyond the technological ability of people at the time, or the Lion's Gate at Mycenae it was so many tons, there were no methods. But he was refuted because people demonstrably showed that you could do what they did with innovative technology known at the time. It was just unusual. So I'm still a skeptic, but I'm less a skeptic, I guess, than I was, if that's a
That
wishy-washy
describes me
answer.
perfectly, too. I sign on for what you said. Now, my executive producer, Steve Krakauer, loves this stuff. He is much more in the Joe Rogan camp and the Tucker camp. He believes, and one of us will wind up being right. Although I like you, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm not ready to say it is, but I'm open-minded to proof. And this movie. Okay, so now we turn to Walter Kern. Very smart guy, journalist, comes on the show. Yeah. And he, this morning, tweeted out something that's since gone everywhere. And he wrote the following: "Can I blow the whole UFO thing wide open for you? You won't believe me anyway. It's only a matter of time until you hear things that will rock your world, if your world is rockable. You will have a hard time verifying them, but that's true of everything you hear. It's true of unemployment statistics. They will be very specific things, however, and so far out, so beyond your expectations, they will ring your bell, and you'll hear them from people you were not ready to hear such things from. The shells are all in the cannon. It's all about who gets to shoot it and who wins and who loses when it goes off. There's money involved. Lots. Hear me now, believe me later, as they say." So good. He's so good at sending tweets out like that, right? Yeah. But there's more. Yeah, give me your initial reaction to his tweet, because I'm going to show you what I think he was talking about.
Yeah. Well, I know Walter Kern a little bit, and I really admire him. He's a really brilliant guy. He's witty. He's a great writer. I'm prejudiced a little bit because he reviewed one of my books favorably. But I just would like to know how when he gives us that assurance, I wish he would just say, and these things are going to shock you because I have seen, talked, or is it this movie, or I don't know. Just give me.
All right. Well, here you want more of it. You want more info. You want more info in the tease.
Yes. But I do.
I am here to make you happy.
Okay. Good.
All right. So, we had the Walter tweet, and we knew about this UFO documentary, The Age of Disclosure, again, which comes out November 21st. And that's all we had as we came to air. And as you know, because we usually give the guests the topics, some of them at least, that we're going to be discussing in advance of the show, that we were planning on talking about the UFO documentary. But then Walter drops his tweet, and we're like, wow, that's interesting. What is that about? Could it be this documentary? And he said no. And then this other thing just dropped. And this other thing is a bit from a show called American Alchemy. And there's an interview on this show that we expect to drop later tonight. And Walter has confirmed to us that this is in part, not in whole, but in part, what he was referring to. Victor, take a look at this.
Anyway, we just sat there and he unveiled this mind-blowing thing to me. Proceeded to tell me that I was part of a project that started in 1960, I believe it was, and the genesis of it was in 1947. We came in contact with an alien species, and 1960 they started a project. It was called Project Preserve Destiny. It was designed to genetically manage fetuses, human fetuses, so that they would have the heightened ability to do this particular thing that I was going to school for. My mother was one of the selected targets, or whatever you want to call it. The result of it was that it gave me the ability to have this communications.
That was in order for you to become an intuitive communicator who is basically able to receive messages from...
Well, receive and transmit.
Receive and transmit.
Yeah, communicate basically, back and forth.
And he's telling you all of this?
Yeah, he said that that's what my job would be doing, or that's what my job would be to do that, yes.
Okay, so that there was something called Project Preserve Destiny, started in 1960, in which they did something to pregnant mothers that he claims heightened the infant's ability to communicate with aliens, and that he's been told he was one such person. Now, I'd be laughing at this openly as absurd if it didn't have some sort of blessing from Walter Kern in the form of that tweet, because he's not crazy. He's not a nutcase. But I definitely feel this is total bullshit. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. Your thoughts?
I'm kind of with you. I wish that when they interviewed him, then they showed us an MRI, a PET scan, and a CT scan, and full blood work, and then gave us some type of recording or audio version how he could use this unique ability to communicate something, just some hard data. So I'm not saying that people didn't believe that and they didn't pursue that, but it seems like every time somebody sees something or comes forward with an encounter with an alien, they don't present enough evidence to convince the skeptical. The skeptical who are not prejudiced. Yeah, and I'm not biased either way. I'm willing and eager to be persuaded. The thing that what I think they don't fully appreciate sometimes is that if what they're saying is true, it remakes everything, because you go back through all of history then and you say these people were communicating with humans and imparting knowledge, and this accounts for that, and this technological this, and wars, and all of these. It affects religion, Christianity, Buddhism, Islam. It affects everything. It would be a totality of a remaking of assumed knowledge, of empiricism, of technology, of religion, of politics, everything. If you were going to tell the American people, well, your government 65 years ago knew about aliens and they had a special division and they genetically altered people to communicate with these people, and they didn't tell you, that would be something. But then the other thing finally is, well, if he had that ability, will he please tell me what they said to him?
Buy gold and get free silver. That's right. For every $5,000 purchased from Birch Gold Group this month in advance of Veterans Day, they're going to send you a free patriotic silver round that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. Look, gold is up over 40% since the beginning of this year, and Birch Gold can help you own it by converting an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Plus, they will send you free silver honoring our veterans on qualifying purchases. And if you are current or former military, Birch Gold has a special offer just for you. They are waiving custodial fees for the first year on investments of any amount. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider diversifying your savings into gold. Just text MK to the number 989898 for a free info kit and to claim your eligibility for free silver with qualifying purchase before the end of the month. Okay, before the end of the month. Again, text MK to the number 989898. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.